right, hello. Can you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Hello, my name is Sungjin Samuel Lee, and I'm currently studying human biology as a sophomore at USC, or University of Southern California. And I am on the pre-med track to become a general surgeon one day.
What made you choose your major?
Yeah, so in the beginning, I thought that I would go into business economics, and so I applied to USC as an economics slash mathematics major. And then I decided that I actually want to pursue a career in medicine during that whole application process and when deciding my school. And so I changed to biological sciences because I thought that was the most fitting for a pre-med major, as a lot of the course requirements aligned with the pre-med and MCAT requirements. And in the beginning of this semester, I actually switched to human biology because I thought that it was more fitting to become a human biology major with a pre-med pre-med track on the pre-med track instead of the biological sciences, because they offer the human biology at USC offers a combined class for molecular biology and biochemistry that's more suited for the MCAT rather than taking the two separate courses that the biological sciences requires you to do. So I thought that because I am aiming for a career in medicine and not a career in as a researcher in the lab, I thought that it was more suited for me to become a human bio major instead of a general biological sciences major.
I see. So what made you choose to go to USC?
Yeah, so at first I applied to a ton of colleges in high school during the application process where I thought that I thought that I wanted to become a dentist. So I applied a lot of schools with the accelerated dental program at their schools, such as NYU, BU, and UOP. And so when I was applying, I thought that become I would just go to UOP and become a dentist. But then when deciding when the time to decide which school I wanted to came, I actually thought, oh, might as well take the leap of faith and just pursue a career in medicine instead, because that's what I really wanted to do. And so the only reason why I wanted to pursue dentistry was because I was too afraid that I wouldn't be cut out for being a surgeon or a doctor or anything like that. And so I just took the leap of faith, and out of the non-accelerated dental program schools, USC was my best bet because of its name brand and also the financial aid that they provided me. So I decided to go there and explore my options rather than just be set to having to have a career in dentistry.
I see. And like, did you have any fears or concerns when you were going to USC?
Yeah, I guess a lot of my fears came from the new friends that I would have to make, and parting from previous friends that I had made in high school. And so the social life was a big concern for me, but it all worked out because I made new friends during the orientation and welcome week that were really friendly all throughout the semester and were very helpful for me, not only in my classes, but just like with like emotional stuff as well. And another fear that I had was um, the school curriculum, because back in high school, I went to a high school where a lot of people didn't really care about the grades I got, and we just fooled around in the classes. And so um, I thought that, in college, everyone was going to be serious and it was going to be very competitive. And so I was afraid of that. But as I began to adjust to my life on campus, I realized that um, a lot of the coursework was completely doable, and that there are plenty of people here that, you could ask for help or gain advice from. And so it was really, I wouldn't say it was easy to adjust, but it was doable. Yeah.
I see, I see. Do you have any tips to help like ease the transition from high school to college and just with
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is to explore a lot of stuff while you're at high school because if you just go into college blindly, then you want to know what everything that's going on there, what it's all about and stuff. And I think another big thing is just uh, living like your fullest during high school so you don't miss it as much in college because I had a lot of fun during my senior year and I did a lot of things that I wouldn't have done during my junior year when I was focused on my studies. And so when I went to college and I didn't really have the time to do all that stuff, I wasn't really I didn't really think that I was missing out on a lot because I already experienced it in high school, so it was not a big deal for me. And I guess with the adjustment, I think the biggest thing is trying to become more independent from like your parents and trying to adjust to whatever situation that whatever situation that's given to you. So that again goes into just exploring a lot of stuff because then you'll be prepared for any situation that arises in college.
I see, I see. So I want to dial it back a bit and go to the college application process. Like, how did you feel about the process? Like, were you familiar with what to do? Did you have like some outside help or like, so what in general, like, tell me your feelings about it.
Yeah, so during the college application process, I didn't really give much thought into it because I didn't really care which college I went to. I knew that I would probably get accepted to a lot of the schools that I was, looking for, such as UOP, where, it was more like a safety than a challenge, especially with uh, the kind of the kind of people that apply there, and the grades that I had at the time, and the testing scores that I also had. And so I knew that I would probably get accepted into, into UOP and just go there and just, study my butt off, become a dentist. But then um, I did get a lot of help from tutoring places because, with the Korean culture, you go to tutors for everything, I guess, just about everything. Your whether it's like music, your extracurriculars, um, your academics, whatever it is.
Mhm.
And so, you know, as a person accustomed to that, I got a lot of help from my tutors. They helped me on the whole application process, whether it came down to researching the schools. Of course, I did the research myself and decided which college I wanted to apply to, but they told me what I should research on. They told me a lot of tips for the essay writing portion, and they also helped me prepare for the ACT as well. And I didn't really think that the ACT was really hard for me because it was like a lot of things that I had learned in school, and um, I guess the only problem was that I didn't have a person to turn to if I got something wrong and I didn't understand it, and that's when the tutors came in. And so it's like a give and take where if you think that if you understand every problem, there's no point in going to a tutor. But if you do find mistakes and you need someone to explain that to you, then of course get a tutor. But the whole process was not difficult for me, especially because I didn't care. And
Mm,
I think most of all, it was really interesting because I got to reflect back on my life with the essays. I got to see the experiences I had when I was younger that I don't really think about nowadays, and those experiences that shaped who I am today. And also with the testing and stuff, I thought it was um, I don't know. I thought it was interesting because I didn't really have like my schoolwork wasn't really challenging, and I didn't really try hard in them because none of the other kids did, and we had a lot of extra credit and stuff to make up for, our lack of concern for our grades. And so I thought it was interesting to see how I will fare against other high schoolers. And so I didn't really have any problems with the process, except it was expensive to apply to all these schools, and my parents aren't that well off, so I had to talk to them about which schools I really wanted to apply for, and which schools that I would go to if I did get in. So yeah.
I see, I see. So like speaking of your experiences, like extracurriculars do make up like a significant portion of that, I would say, like in the college
Uh-huh.
application. Like
Right, right.
whether it be through high school or college, like could you just talk about some of the extracurriculars you participated in?
Yeah, so I did not participate in a lot of extracurriculars, but I dedicated myself to a specific few. And so I think the uh, I think the extracurricular I spent the most time on was my choir, which I spent around like 5 hours each week doing. And so that made up a big portion of time commitment, and I think that made up a major portion of my application process, especially because I spent so much time in it. It was basically like it was basically like half my life, I guess, aside from academics and such. And so I wrote about my experience in choir. Um, of course, I put that into my hours, and yeah, I think like I think not only is it important to dedicate time to many different volunteering places or extracurriculars, but it's important to dedicate yourself to a specific one that you're spending a lot of time in. And so, aside from my choir, I did a lot of volunteers in the health related fields, I guess. And so I volunteered at hospitals. I did a lot of cleanups for like the environment and stuff. So it was very very science based. And so yeah, I thought that that would help me get into whatever schools that I wanted to, because a lot of what I was applying for was STEM fields, and especially with the accelerated dental programs. And so what I did was find volunteers that were best suited for those kind of places, but keep certain number of hours for my choir so that I did not seem so focused on just one thing, but then able to be spread out amongst many different interests that I had.
So
So
now
yeah.
you blended like stuff that would help your application and just stuff that would just help your like like your mental state with like your social activities and your social circles. Like just
Right,
blended.
right, right. I just thought that colleges were looking for much more than just an interest in what you're doing, but just about who you are. And so I think, well, for me, choir made up a lot of who I was because of the friends that I've made there and the amount of time I was spending there, and what I was doing there. And we went on a lot of mission trips. Sorry about that. But
No,
yeah, and on these mission trips, I had a lot of different experiences, whether it been visiting the Mexican prison, the prison in Mexico, women's prison in Mexico, or going to Korea, finding a lot of churches or such, and hearing all these stories when I was on these mission trips helped me grow as a person, because I would never I would always ask questions when I was there that I would never ask before, and it helped me to think about a lot of different things, especially regarding life and my future.
so in a way
Yeah,
these like, help to these extracurriculars like in a way help to like expand your horizon regarding like a few.
right, right, right. I think it sparked a lot of different questions in me, and I guess that kind of helped me guide what I was going to write in my college application, and also guide, what I told them, what kind of person I was that I wanted to display to these colleges. Yeah.
I see. So like to wrap up this interview, I know I kind of touched upon it a bit earlier, but like if you were to give advice to like high school students regarding anything, what would it be?
Yeah. So I think one of the most important things is to explore a lot of things, but then not only explore, but try your best at it. And so I think the motto, I guess, would be live your life to the fullest, whatever it may be. And um, I know it's hard for a lot of people to spend a lot of time because they have many different interests and that they want to explore. But as for me and my personal experience, I had a lot of focuses. Um, I had a lot of I put a lot of focus on just on the minimum amount of interest that I had, and so I tried my best at I tried my best and spent a lot of time in them. And I would guess that, you know, a lot of people do that too. And I think, um, yeah, not just spending a lot of time on academics. Of course, that's important too, and that's a high priority. But also different things that interest you. I think you should spend a lot of time on it, and you know, invest a lot of commitment because um, it will help you on in the future, whether it be, you know, just finding jobs or exploring new opportunities. I think that will help you guide you on what you want to do and also find your spark. So yeah.
I think it's a good mantra to live by. Well, thank you for coming to the interview, and I wish you the best.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.